Good day, everyone, and once again, welcome for another video presentation. And this will be the continuation of our video presentation with regards to signatures and some on the handwriting identification. So, moving on, we have here all about standards. So, we know or we have already mentioned also in our previous discussions with regard to standards. So in here, we are going to have on the basis or what are the different standards that we could have. Okay. So take note that standards are also termed as exemplars. Okay. For in if in science experimentations, we are having the term specimen. But when it comes to question document, we have here standards or exemplars. Simple lang naman po yung tinutukoy natin na standards. Okay? This may be the known writings which indicate how a person writes, or simply this is our basis. Okay? This will be the one that we are going to or we need to have, okay, in order for us to use as a basis of comparison, okay, with regards to the question document. So, paano natin nga ba ma paano natin ma-identify, okay, kung sino yung author, okay, nung question document natin, di ba? So, anong unang-unang kailangan natin? Siyempre, maghanap tayo ng basis or maghanap tayo ng a genuine document or maybe we are calling it as standards, okay, in order for us to have comparison. So just like na lang gusto mong malaman in a suicide case, gusto mong malaman kung siya talaga yung sumulat ng suicide note, okay? As an investigator, ang unang-una mong hahanapin, syempre, you are going to look for a standard. So yan, pwede mong maging standard dyan, syempre, yung mga uh, writings or notebooks, okay, nung individual, kung meron siyang notebooks na pwede mong makita or makuha, okay, in order for you to have a basis. So you are going to compare his handwritings dun sa notebooks niya with the questioned document or with regards to the letter na natagpuan mo, okay, on the crime scene, okay, para ma-identify mo kung ano ba or kung sino ba talaga yung author. Okay, kung siya ba or hindi. And then, meron din tayo yung term na sample. So, by the word sample, syempre, selected representative or selected part only and that will serve or that will represents the whole person. Okay, just like na lang sa ano, just like na lang sa, let's say, you have taken, okay, a document or a standard containing several writings, okay, so in comparison, okay, if you are going to have, okay, you are going to compare the questioned handwriting, okay, and you are going to take the whole, okay, or it is not necessary na kunin mo lahat ng content, okay, nung standard na nakuha mo, the whole document. So ang gagawin mo lang doon, syempre pipili ka lang ng konti. Okay, pipili ka lang ng konti or some parts of that standard na nakuha mo nung document na yun na alam mo talaga na yun ay document na pinroduce niya or yun ay handwriting na sinulat niya talaga. Okay? So, pipili ka lang ng konting parte doon. And then, kunwari, okay, kung ito ang nakasulat sa questioned handwriting. Okay? Or this is the content of the questioned handwriting. So, it has it contains only some letters. Okay? So, of course, if you are going to have, for you to have a comparison, yun, naghanap ka ng standard ngayon. Okay? You were able to find a standard. And, di ibig sabihin na i-consider mo lahat ng content ng standard na yun. Siyempre, pwede. Pili lang na lang tayo ng part nun, okay, na merong letter G. Okay? Merong letter I, letter V, and then yun na lang, kukuha ka ng, you're just going to get some part of it. Okay? So, at least you will be having, or same word, okay, kung merong the same word, give, okay, na makikita mo doon sa known standard or doon sa known handwriting na nakuha mo. Okay? And then yun yung kukunin mo na lang na paragraph or sentence, okay, wherein you can use as a basis, okay, in order for you to have a comparison. Okay? So, ngayon tatawagin na natin yung kinuha mong small portion or selected portion na yun as sample, okay, or known samples. Okay? But as a whole, okay, we are going to term it as standard. Right? So now we have here the types of handwriting standards. So first here is the collected, okay, in other words, tinatawag din po na procured, okay, or tinatawag din po na non-requested standards. Okay? So, bakit tinawag na collected, procured, non-request standards? Okay? So, ito yung mga tinawag natin na collected, procured, non-request standards po ang mga ito. Kasi hindi natin to pinagawa sa kanya. Okay? Hindi natin pinagawa sa subject natin. Hindi natin to ni-request sa kanya by the word itself. Okay? Or hindi natin iniutos na isulat niya. Okay? So, usually, nakukuha natin to in different institutions na affiliated siya. Okay? Katulad na lang ng eskwelahan na pinanggalingan niya or pinag-aralan niya. Katulad na lang din ng mga yung workplace niya. Okay? Or some agencies na meron siyang records, kumbaga. Okay? Na meron yung pirma niya, okay? Merong handwritings niya. Then, pwedeng makipag-coordinate doon sa mga institutions na yun in order for us to get, okay? In order for us to have some of those documents na pwede nating gamitin in comparing with the questioned document. Okay? Na nakuha natin. So, kunwari yung signature. Okay? So, we are trying to establish, okay? If he is the one who really, okay? If he is the one who really signed, okay? Signed the document. Okay? So, maybe we can ask some institutions na meron siya. Okay? Meron siyang record, okay? And then meron din siyang meron din siyang signature, okay? So pwede na doon kung gusto nating i-confirm or pwede nating makuha ay yung kung sa school, pwedeng yung card, okay? Or I mean transcript of records, okay? Pwede siguro some of his ano to um grade, okay, grading sheet, but I think we can't get, okay, a signature on that part. So maybe the best one is on the pwedeng sa TOR, okay, or transcript of records, as well as enrollment form, maybe, okay, enrollment form, okay, we're in usually on enrollment forms manually na finifill upan, okay, during enrollment phase, and of course sa dulo niyan may signature siya. So pwedeng mga ganun. However, okay, this kind of standards, it's really difficult to find, okay, or it's really also difficult to get. Kasi sometimes we are violating the privacy. Okay? We are violating the privacy of that individual. So there is really a need, okay, to be careful also, or there is a really need to observe also those violations or those kinds, because you might be violating his rights against privacy of those documents, okay, or those details na yan, hindi basta-bastang pinoproduce dapat. Okay? So, anyway, we are referring to collected, procured, or non-requested standards. Another one, or on the next slide, we have here some examples of collected standards na pwede nyo makuha, ma-request in different institutions na affiliated siya. Maybe we have here affidavits, okay? Automobile repair estimates, kung meron siyang sa mga repair shops na pinuntahan niya. Okay, and then there is a automobile repair estimates that he transacted. Okay, or meron siyang pinirmahan, kumbaga, finilapan. And bank signature cards, okay, bills of sales, checks. This is very common also. Credit applications, diaries is also it's very common also. However, it's paano mo makukuha yung diary niya? So maybe you can get that from his relatives. Okay, katulad na lang ng sa suicide cases, pwede talaga ang diaries. Okay? With the consent of the relatives, immediate family niya, baka pwede mong mahingi or makuha yung diaries niya. And then that will serve as your standards. Okay, a standard or basis in comparison. Okay, for comparison. Okay, of the question document. Educational and vocational materials. In schools, makukuha employment applications. Sa workplace, insurance applications, letters, receipts, and signed fingerprint cards, usually in government agencies such as NBI or PNP. Okay, so it's good if you have since you are in the PNP, then maybe it's really this kind of standards may be easy for you to get. Okay, so those are some examples of collected standards. Now, we have here the second type of standards. So, we have here the requested standards. So, ito naman, sinabing requested standards kasi ito, sinabihan natin yung subject, okay, to write a specific material. Okay, and usually, through dictation. Okay, so, ang ginagawa, okay, ito, sasabihan mo siya, okay, can you write this? You write these words, okay, and then i-dictate mo yung words na isusulat niya. Okay, and then the product of that, we are calling it as requested standards. Okay, so that is still for the purpose of comparison again. Okay, so ngayon, katulad na lang ng still kung gusto mong alamin kung pirma niya yung pirma niya talaga yung nandun sa document, pwedeng ito. Okay, you request him to sign several times, and then you will be using a card, okay, a small card, okay, or maybe as a whole. Okay, but there is actually a guidelines. Okay, there is also a guideline, okay, that we must observe with regards to requested standards, lalong-lalo na sa signature din, okay, or pwede rin sa handwriting. So advice there or guideline that we should follow there is you need to have in a small card. Okay, so you are going to dictate you that he will be indicating his signature in that card, then you will be claiming that. Okay, kukunin mo tapos magbibigay ka na naman ng card, doon na naman siya mag-signature. Kunin mo na naman, saka siya mag-signature ulit para hindi niya maging model, okay? Hindi niya maging model yung naunang pinirmahan niya or nauna na pirma niya, okay? So that is to avoid, okay, na maging lalong-lalo na, okay, kung siya ay suspected talaga na mahilig mag-forge, okay? Or suspected talaga na siya ay siya yung may-ari ng signature, okay? So that is for the purpose of that is for requested standards. Okay, so just take note, we ask him to write a specific material. Okay, and now we have here post-litem motam exemplars, I should say, post-litem, okay, motam exemplars. So these are said to be, okay, by the word itself, post-litem motam. It says in here that after a lawsuit is started or has started, it should be. If after the lawsuit has standards. So ano yung gamit na ng standards or yung mga pinroduce ng subject na, okay, na writings. Okay, so yun. The produced writings after the litigation has already started, okay? Those are not used, okay? Those will not be used already as evidence, okay, or that is not for the purpose to be used as evidence in court, okay, but solely, okay, for the purpose of contentions, okay, para lang ma-confirm nila kung siya ba yung may signature nun or para lang ma-confirm nila na kung siya ba yung may handwritings nun, pero hindi gagamitin as to be presented in court kasi nga the lawsuit had already started, okay, or the court proceeding had already started, okay, and that is what we are pertaining to in post-litem motam exemplars. Okay. So anyway, those are the common, okay, types of handwriting standards. Right. So next we have here the basic points that we should be considering, okay, or that we should consider in obtaining standards. So number one there is the amount of standard writing available. So in here, in our guidelines, as to our source, there's no fixed rule actually. with regards on kung gaano ba karami ang standards na kunin mo. Gaano karami ang pwede mong kunin na signature, gaano karami ang pwede mong kunin na letters, okay, na gamitin mo as a basis, okay, for comparison. There's no fixed rule. Okay, however, it is suggested to at least have 7 standards. Okay, 7 standards, but of course, the more standards you will get, then it is also better. Okay, because 7 is better. Kasabi dyan sa ano natin, sa screen natin, 10 is better than 7. Okay, or the more it is, the better it is. Okay, uh, for you to have more basis. Okay, but at least there should be at least 7. Okay, however, there's no fixed rule with regards to the amount of standard writing, okay, that you should get. Okay, similarity of subject matter. Of course, we are going to have here, or as a rule, we should take, okay, a standard that is similar to the subject matter. Hindi ibig sabihin na yun, yung kinuha mo na standard, okay? Yung sulat naman doon ay printed. Printed naman yung sulat doon sa standard na nakuha mo. Okay? Let's say doon sa diary, printed naman yung sulat niya. Okay? Pero doon sa suicide note na kini-question mo kung yun ba talaga ay sulat niya or hindi, okay, ay ang ginamit niya ay cursive. Okay? So magagamit mo ba as you can say that is it good if you are going to take that as standard, yung diary na printed naman yung sulat? Okay? That is not similar with the subject matter, di ba? So, kailangan mong maghanap din ng standard na yung gamit niya na sulat ay, of course, it should be um, printed also. I mean, cursive. Kasi cursive nga yung ginamit niya dun sa question document na yun, which is yung suicide note. Okay? So, kung signature yan, of course, signature ang hanapin mo, hindi handwriting. Okay? Ganun din. Baliktarin natin. Yung nasa diary niya, cursive. Yung pagkakasulat, yung question document ay ano siya, printed. Okay? So, syempre, ang hanapin mo ay printed also. Printed writing. Okay? Then that will serve as your standard also. So, that is what we are pertaining to when it comes to number 2. Number 3, relative date of the question signature or writing with the standard. So take note, okay? Sabi nga natin, ang papel nag-fade yan. Ang quality ng ink nag-fade yan as times goes by. Okay? So i-consider din natin yung date, okay, nung standard na kukunin natin. Okay? So at least magkalapit lang sana. Kunwari yung krimen, okay? Yung suicide case natin ngayon, okay? Nangyari lang this day, okay? Nangyari lang ngayon. Sabihin natin. Okay, and then you are the investigator, nakakuha ka ng suicide note, okay, near the crime scene or the suicide area or the area wherein the individual or that person committed suicide, nakakuha ka ng suicide note. Okay? So ngayon, ang kukunin mo dapat, okay? At least yung sulat na maybe we can say a week, okay? Or a month. If it is not possible, a week, okay? Then at least a month, okay? Or at least a year. Yung kunin mo na standard. Yung sinulat niya last year or sinulat lang niya last month or sinulat lang niya nung last week. Okay? So, pag kukunin mo kasi yung matagal na, lalo na kung nasira na, nagkaroon ng deformities, nagkaroon na ng uh, irregularities doon sa ink, okay, doon sa papers. Okay? So, that is not a reliable standard that you can use, okay, for comparison. So, consider, the better it is if that is close to the date, okay, close to the date of the question signature. So, yun lamang po yung tinutukoy natin when it comes to number 3. Okay, that is another important thing to consider when it comes to procured or collected standard also. Okay, so another one, conditions under which known writing or signature is prepared also. Okay, so take note. Okay, you should also make sure, okay, that standard that you are getting, he did not write that or he did not create that during the time that he has serious illness, okay, intoxication, or you need to determine, okay, determine on how did he produce those handwritings. Okay, Because sabi nga natin, if that person having a serious illness, his handwriting might be affected. Intoxication, lasing, okay? His writing is normal writing is also affected. Okay? Haste or nagmamadali. Okay? Lack of care, unnatural writing. Okay? So those are the conditions. You should also consider those. Okay? You should establish, okay, or make sure that the standard that you are taking, okay, he created that, okay, on a normal condition or position. Okay? So that will be the standard or the best standard that you can use for comparison. Next, kind of instrument or paper use. So simply, if on the suicide note, okay, that you are questioning, he used a pencil, then you should also find a standard that the writing instrument was used is also a pencil. Okay? And ganun din, yung klase ng papel na ginamit, kung yan ay yellow paper, pwede yellow paper din yung hanapin mo dapat. Okay? White paper, hanapin mo din ay white paper also. Or the quality of the paper, okay? Or the brand, maybe. It should be the same so that you can use that as a best uh, standard for comparison. Okay? Ganun din sa uh, writing instrument as well as to the paper used. You should consider all those. Kasi magkaiba ang sulat ng pencil sa ballpen. Magkaiba ang sulat ng fountain pen sa ballpen. Okay? So you need to consider those also. Okay? So requested standard also basic still on the basic points. So yung napag-usapan natin kanina for procured or collected standards or yung tinatawag natin na non-requested standards. So those are the basic points that you should consider. Now, with regards to requested standard naman, okay, yung kinuha natin, I mean yung pinagawa natin sa kanya or pinasulat natin. Okay? So, requested standard, number one thing that you should consider, it should be dictated. Okay? Questioned material must be dictated. Okay? Or yung ipapasulat mo sa kanya, dapat dictated. Wag mong bibigyan ng model kasi baka yung model kokopyahin niya 'yun. Diba? So you need to dictate it. Okay? You speak out and as you dictate, he will be writing, okay, the words that you are saying. So you should never show, okay, the the question material also to him. And of course, the dictation should be accomplished without punctuation, capitalization, or wag mong sasabihin dapat ganito yung spelling. Wag mong sasabihin kung i-capitalize niya or hindi, or kung lalagyan niya ng punctuation marks or hindi. So you just dictate it and it's up to him, okay, to write. So that is the best way, or that is best for you, okay, to do in order for you to have a good requested standard that you can use for comparison on the question document. Another one, dictated text must be carefully selected also. So you should choose, okay? You should choose those na nakita mo dun sa question document. Yun ang pwede mong gamitin na yun yung mga words na piliin mo na i-dictate sa kanya para isulat niya. Okay? Para yon magkaroon ka ng meron kang magagamit na comparison. So same word, a same letter, then you can use. Okay? If you can confirm kung siya ba talaga yung or ganun ba talaga niya sinusulat yung word na yon or yung letter na yon. Okay? So that is for number 2. Okay? Hindi yung basta magpapadictate ka lang ng kung ano-ano. So make sure that it contains the alphabetical letters na meron din dun sa question document mo. Right? And adequate amount of writing must be included. Well, as we have said a while ago, also in the non-requested standards, there's no standard amount. Okay, but of course, the more maybe with regards to requested standard also, the more the more it is, okay, or at least minimum, or at least just beyond the minimum, okay, uh, basis or enough amount, okay, or yes, we are referring to the amount, then that is better, okay. So adequate amount, wag kang magpasulat ng nobela kasi pakatatama rin yan. And kapag tumagal, di ba, kapag masyado kang maraming sinusulat, then humihina yung kamay mo, napapagod yung kamay mo, nag-iiba na yung pressure mo sa ballpen, pumapangit na yung sulat, or nag-iiba na yung style ng sulat mo since nagkaroon ng, so at least adequate amount or enough amount. Okay, some portions of dictations must be repeated, okay, at least 3 times. So paulit mo, okay, at least 3 different sheets of paper. So wag mo ding hayaan na kaharap niya, okay. So nag-dictate ka for the first time, sinabihan mo siya. Okay? Nag-dictate ka for the first time, and then natapos na niya. Okay? Huwag mong hayaan na nakalapag sa harapan niya. Okay? Kunin mo. Kunin mo, and then saka mo siya ulit bigyan ng clean sheet of paper. And then you, again, dictate it. Okay? Anong purpose ulit nun? Kasi pag nakaharap yan sa kanya, pwede niyang gamitin yan na model. Okay? Para ma-establish niya na yun talaga ang normal writing niya. Okay? So, magiging magiging bias na yun, or magiging inaccurate na yung standard na yun na ni-request mo kung sakaling yun yung gagamitin mo for comparison. Okay? Kasi nadaya na niya, di ba? So, with that, that is avoided by taking every sheet of paper after na natapos siya. Okay? Saka mo bigyan ulit until such time matapos lahat. Okay? So, requested standard still, basic points that you should consider. Writing instrument and paper use should be similar, just like what we have said a while ago on the non-requested standard. Another one, dictation should be interrupted, okay, or at intervals so that suspect will feel relaxed. Okay, so at least it is advisable for you to give the subject to rest between dictations. Huwag mong bilisan yung pag-dictate mo. Katulad ng teacher kung minsan na nagmamadali. Since gusto na niyang ma-dismiss or nag-overtime na, binibilisan yung pag-dictate sa quiz nung face-to-face pa. Okay? So, don't do that when it comes to requested standards. Okay? So, it is advisable for you to give, okay, a rest between dictations. So, what's the reason? It usually makes a writer forget about his previous writing para malimutan niya. Ano nga ba? Paano ko sinulat yung word na interrupted kanina? Okay, paano ko ba sinulat, or paano ba yung slant ng letter P ko kanina? So, at least makakalimutan niya yun, okay, the longer or the more time has passed. Okay, so you should at least put enough rest, okay, during the dictation. So yun ay hindi para pagpahingain yung subject, but the purpose is for you to at least uh, uh, lessen the chance na dadayain niya or di-disguise niya yung handwriting niya. Okay? So, still on requested standard, as we have mentioned a while ago, kung signature yan, ito yung naging example ko po kanina. Okay? Kung signature yan, at least 3 times 5 cards. Okay? Or small slip. Okay? Inches po yung tinutukoy natin dito, 3 times 5 inches cards. Okay? Yung size. And maybe you can use that for taking a signature as a requested standard. So, at least ilan? 15 times or 20 times yung na-mention dito sa source natin na enough amount maybe for us to compare. Okay? So, it is suggested also to do, okay, or to take more if this guy is suspected, or kung napapansin niyo dinadayan niya or dinidisguise niya talaga yung handwriting niya. Okay? So, same ruling din katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, pagkatapos niyang isulat or pagkatapos siyang mag-signature, tanggalin niyo sa harapan niya. Okay? You take the card, okay, and again give another card and let him sign again. Take the card para hindi niya maging model yung mga yan. Right? So now we have here still requested standard basic points to consider. Normal writing conditions should be arranged. So tignan nyo, dapat nakaupo siya, hindi yung nakatayo siya na pinagsisignature ninyo. Or hindi yung tagilid yung lamesa or rough surface yung pinagsusulatan niya. So at least in a normal writing condition. Tignan nyo, baka mainit masyado sa loob, tapos pumapatak yung pawis niya. Okay, so make sure that should be in a normal writing condition. Okay, so that is for the basic points that we should consider in obtaining standards, whether that is requested as well as non-requested standards. All right, so now we have here care, preservation, and handling of question document evidence. It's very important also for you not to be technically questioned, okay? Because you are an expert witness and maybe you will be acting, you will be having a testimony sa court. Okay, so yun, yung mga document nagkasira-sira, di mo na preserve yung integrity, and that might be questioned in court, and that might cause the technical dismissal of the case in involved ang na-involved or na-involved, okay, or inaasikaso mo. Okay, or you are acting as an expert witness. Right? So first one, disputed should not be cut. Okay, make sure that it is well secured. Okay, it should not be torn. Siyempre, pag napunit yan, then that is already mutilated already. And that is questionable already again sa korte. Okay? So documents should not be touched with neither an eraser or any kind. So, huwag niyong buburahan. Kasi nga, sabi natin, nasisira or merong hindi man nakikita ng naked eye natin yung bawat pag-erase natin sa papel or bawat pag-trace natin, pagsulat natin, hindi napapansin ng naked eye. But through the use of photography or through the use of advanced technology, we can see those markings with there. So, with that, that might also be questionable on your part. And documents should not be folded. Of course, avoid that. So, folded in new place. Okay, so it should not be folded. If that might destroy the document also. So it is also advisable that no chemical should be applied to papers. Except only if there is a special permission that you are going to use chemical, okay, on examination of those documents. Anong rason? Pwedeng makasira yan. Okay? Pwedeng sirain ng chemical na yan, like acidic chemicals can destroy the paper. So, yun, it can deface the paper, then it should be considered, or it should not be that should not be or that should not happen. Okay, so yun, that is for preserving also the evidence or the question document. Never point closely at letters or any parts. So while you are conducting an examination, don't point the pencil on the paper, okay, or close to the letters. Mamaya accidentally nagulat ka and then nagkaroon na lagyan ng markings yung papel. Eh, ganun din sa board examinations, merong mga ganun, since limited yung lamesa mo, di ba? So, yun, nagkataon, yung ballpen mo, nagulat ka, sumigaw yung classmate mo kasi hindi siya makasagot, nahihirapan sa nasagutan yung board exam question. Okay, bigla siyang sumigaw, nagulat ka, nagkaroon ng guhit doon sa test paper mo. Okay? So, that might be the cause of the disqualification of your exam paper or hindi siya makakount. So, sayang naman. So, it's same here also when it comes to preservation of question document. Okay? As well as sharp-pointed dividers or measuring instrument, make sure na wala ito sa mga filing area mo or hindi to walang mga gantong makakasira. Okay? Doon sa question document na nakapwesto sa mga lamesa mo or doon sa examination area na meron ka. Okay? So, that is for preservation of the question document evidence. Okay, moving on, we have here some of the techniques in examination of question documents. Of course, hindi sa lahat na, sabi nga natin ng kanina, hindi natin makikita through the naked eye yung ibang yung observable, okay, or signs of forgeries, okay, or signs of or different with regards to yun, the patching or retouching, okay? Unnatural pen leaf, hindi natin makikita with the common eye. Kung hindi natin makikita with our natural eye, then we can use these kinds of techniques. Number one, there is microscopic examination, right? So we are using also in question documents Kung hindi kaya ng magnifying glass, then we can use microscopic examination or microscope, okay, with low and high power objectives also. So it's very much, it is very much useful when it comes to detect retouching, yes, patching, and of course unnatural pen leaf, because this might be, or this patching, unnatural pen leaf, those are common signs of forged documents, or maybe traced forgery, or pwede rin uh, simulated forgery, okay, ng signature, right? So that is for microscopic. Another one is transmitted light examination naman. So as you can see, it's actually, we have in question document, we have a transmitted light table. So sa baba po yung ilaw, and then ang gagawin dyan, we are ipapatong po natin yung question document doon sa yan. Merong salamin, it is actually a table with a mirror, and then sa baba niya is a light. Okay? And of course, yun, papailawan natin. Tapos, ilalapag natin yung question document dyan, and then we are going to observe it. So, anong pwede nating makita dyan? Presence of erasures, okay, and of course, matching of serration, or with regards to ink, okay, thickness, okay, or mechanical, ano to, uh, defects, or deformities that was caused by mechanical erasures, the use of rubber erasers or pointed objects also, and other some types of alterations. So, pwede nating makita yan gamit or through the use of, or with the method transmitted light examination. Okay, so galing po sa baba yung source ng light is from the bottom. Okay, just below. Okay. So now we have here ultraviolet examination. It's very much useful when it comes to detecting also identification cards that are fake. Okay? Ginagamit sa mga driver's license, in detecting driver's license that are fake nowadays. But also we can use that also in yes, that is only one use of ultraviolet examination. Okay, not only on driver's license, but we can use in some also field of criminalistics, katulad ng fingerprint. Okay, and of course maybe pwede rin in crime scene investigation, right? And with regards to here, we can say that or we should also consider that minimum duration also, okay, to avoid, or I mean in order to avoid fading of some writing ink, kasi nga sabi natin ultraviolet rays has it can damage something, okay, or it can damage your skin, and same as to the paper, it might damage this the paper if there is too much exposure on it. Okay, so that should be avoided. So ano pa? Consists of several pages. Pwede nating magamit to if there are substitutions or in-insert, katulad sa mga cheque, okay? Katulad sa mga documents na meron dong pinalitan na pangalan, okay? Tinanggal or substituted names, okay? Ginamitan ng erasures na through the use of chemical, okay, that it cannot that doesn't destroy the paper, and then pinalitan, then maybe we can use that, or we can detect that by the process of ultraviolet examination. So we have here some illustrations. So to reveal, or it revealed, okay, uh, writings that was revealed by ultraviolet rays, through the use of ultraviolet examination. So you can see here, okay, so it is actually an obliterated writing, okay, obliterated, pero yon, with the use of the ultraviolet examination, you were able to see, okay, what was behind the obliterations, yung tinakpan na sulat. Okay, so that is or this is, or those are only some, okay, these are only some uses of ultraviolet examination. ESDA, or electrostatic detection apparatus naman, okay, this is very much useful when it comes to detecting indentation, okay, or indented writings, lalong-lalo na, okay, with regards to indented forgery, I mean forged signature through the use of indentation. Okay, we can use this, or we can see if we can see by observing the indentations of the writing kung consistent ba yung pressure, okay, the pen pressure from the moment that he started writing up to the end. Okay, so mapapansin natin yan kung embossed masyado or indented masyado, then maybe the force is too much. Okay, then kapag nawawala or hindi masyadong deep yung indentation, then maybe the relaxation, or that maybe the writing might be written, okay, in a smooth way or in a light pressure. Okay, so that is for ESDA. It is commonly for detecting indented writings. Okay, and that is with the aid also of writing, lighting. Okay, so oblique light naman, ito naman, kung kanina sa transmitted light yung light source ay nanggagaling sa baba, when it comes to the use of oblique light, it is angled, okay, sidewards. Okay, it is positioned maybe in on the side. Okay, as you can see in here, the light is positioned on the side of the question document. So what is the purpose? The purpose is for, okay, decipherment of faded handwriting. Okay, for us to see if there is a faded handwritings that we can see in there. Determination of the outlines in traced forgery, embossed impressions, etc. And those are the things that we can observe through the use or through this method, oblique light method. Okay. Another one, photographic examination. This is also one of the we can say it is very much practical. Okay, or we can say that it is very much advanced nowadays. Kasi it is we can observe it through the use of computer. Okay, through the use of computer, or through the use of what we have now as a laptop. Okay, or yeah, okay, computers, with the aid of computers, taking a picture of the question document, and then we are going to have it observe it on our computers, and computers through viewing in the monitors. Okay, so with that, that is for photographic examination. Right? So now we are going to have here the danger of offhand opinions. So this is on the part of the question document examiner. So don't ever as a question document examiner, these are the things that you should consider. Okay, uh, when it comes, or it is better for you to avoid offhand opinions. Bakit? Okay. So we have here the following things, or specific things you need to consider. You should not be influenced to form an offhand opinion. Okay, so don't have, okay, or don't conduct the examination in an urgent manner, because you might lapses might be encountered, and kawawa naman kapag ma-misinterpret mo or magkaroon ka ng wrong conclusion, okay, wrong identification. So, if you remember the case of Bertillon, and of course si Alfred Dreyfus, di ba? Since during his time, Alphonse Bertillon is very much popular when it comes to personal identification. So because of his popularity, he was taken, okay, as one of the expert witness with regards to the question document involved in the case of Alfred Dreyfus. Ayun. So dahil sa popularity, even though he is not that qualified maybe as expert witness, okay, to stand with that question document. So yun, because of the wrong opinion of Alphonse Bertillon, Alfred Dreyfus was mistakenly convicted, okay, because of that wrong handwriting, or mistaken handwriting identification made by Alphonse Bertillon. Okay, so now you should not that should be avoided. Okay, do not do it in an urgent manner. Okay, make sure that you take time, okay, and observe closely, okay, the question document, and compare it accurately with the taken standard. And of course, an expert can never afford to just take a look. Okay? Don't just take a look. You can use different kinds of methods. We have here transmitted light examination. We have microscopic examination. We have ESDA examination. Okay, so you should do those before arriving with a conclusion. Okay, and an expert always need time to make painstaking and careful examination, as I mentioned a while ago. Take time, okay, to look closely, observe closely, because if you are going to have an offhand opinion, then an innocent man might be sent in prison, and that is not good. Okay? So, unfair naman dun sa tao na yun. Tapos yung salarin, siya ay malayang-malaya. Okay? So, that is not good, or that is the danger of offhand opinions. Okay? So, now we have here admissibility of a standard writings. So, number one, standard writings witnessed. So, it's very much uh, advice also when it comes to those taking requested handwritings or requested standards. Make sure that there will be a witness. There is always a witness, preferably, okay, presence of an investigator or maybe the counsel of that individual, right? So that that standard writing will be admitted, or we can say that that is useful also, standard writing. Okay, and standards writings admitted, so there is no necessary, or it is not necessary also to further provide proof also of genuineness, okay, since it's already admitted. Okay, record maintained in regular course of business, standard writings nasabi natin kanina. Okay, you can uh, get standards through different institutions that that individual or your subject is affiliated also. Okay, but make sure that he is really, okay, affiliated with those organizations or institutions. Eh, baka yung makuha ninyo, eh, that is just fake also. Right? And standard writings admitted. Okay, signatures of government officials. This is in connection with number two, as we have mentioned a while ago. Okay, document treated as authentic produced from officials. Archives may be admitted in evidence standard comparison. Okay, so as to being issue as to the forgery of the signature of the same persons on other documents. So as we are one of the major sources, maybe that you can ask for an institution or government offices. Okay? Katulad na lang ng sa panahon natin ngayon, di ba? Pag kukuha tayo ng barangay clearance, mag-fill up tayo, pipirma. Pag pupunta tayo ng police station, kukuha ng police clearance, mag-fingerprinting tayo dun, or rolled impression of our fingerprints are taken, pictures are taken, writings are taken, or signatures are taken, as well as to the NBI, as to the LTO. So it's very much also, okay. I mean, that is also the best, or maybe institutions wherein you can get standards. However, as I mentioned a while ago, it's very hard to get those. Okay, so anyway, some standards, okay, or those documents, okay, signed by the government officials or assigned on those government agencies, okay, with their signatures, then we can say that is treated as authentic also. Okay, and ancient writings, if it involves, okay, so long as it is related, okay, with the, or it has connection with the case that that is being involved in. Okay, what else? Signatures are also maybe considered as, I mean, in taking standard writings, okay, or signatures also. Of course, we have mentioned a while ago already the things that you should consider when it comes to requested standards, especially signatures. And we have here familiarity. Okay, sometimes established standard writings, and that could be presented, or that could be witnessed, okay, by person whom he is familiar, or whom he is close to, or the who is familiar, I should say, okay, with the persons or with the subject's handwriting. Okay, And opinion evidence, or this witness or the witness uh, testimony with regards to his familiarity of that handwriting of the subject, then that should be supported by the opinion of the expert witness also. Okay? So, hindi lang ito ang paniniwalaan, yung witness ng, yun, ka-classmate ko yan, kakilala ko yan ng elementary. Parehas kami ng school, at magkatabi kami sa klase. So, kapisado ko na yung writings niya. So, it's not enough. That should be supported by the examination or by the opinion also of the expert witness. Okay? With regards to court presentation. Okay? And genuineness of standard writing. I mean, standard decided by court. Okay? So, the court also. Okay? Sufficient of the proof of genuineness of standard writing is a matter to be decided by the court, or the court has also, okay, the freedom to take a look on if that standard, or that yes, that standard, or yes, document is genuine, or that is really, okay, or that could be admitted also as standard. Okay, so overall, those are the things that we should, those are the things for admissibility of standard writings. We have here also disguised writing. Okay, so we have already discussed this last time, that disguised writing, okay, this is to hide. Usually, the individuals are using this, or applying this method to hide, okay, their identity. So, yun. Yung example natin dito, kunwari gusto mong manligaw, okay, mag-send ng letter ng love letter sa crush mo, pero ayaw mo na malaman niya. Kasi natatakot ka, baka bigla kanyang bigla kanyang layuan. Okay, magalit sa'yo. So, yun, you try to hide by disguising, okay, your handwriting, para hindi niya ma-identify yung sulat mo. Okay? So, what are the techniques, or what are the kinds of disguises? So, one technique that you could do is change your slant. Okay? So, instead, kapag pa-right yung slant ng writing mo, okay, babaliktarin mo na. So, magkakaroon ka na ng left slant, okay, formation of your handwriting. So, instead na vertical or straight, gagawin mo ng left, or papalitan mo yung slant ng normal handwriting mo. Okay? So, that is one form of disguising. Change of letter, okay, either from cursive, okay, papalitan mo na ng printed, okay, or pwedeng vice versa. Change from cursive to block form, or vice versa also. Or maybe combination. Instead of just cursive, combining the two. Change of style from small to big. Okay, lalakyan mo na yung sulat mo. Instead na normally, smaller yung pagsulat mo. Deteriorating one's handwriting. You might be intentionally, okay, deteriorate or sirain yung let's say, the rhythm of your handwriting. So, instead, mabilis ka naman talagang magsulat, pero babagalan mo, or kunwaring maglalagay ka ng mga thickening. You are going to form thickening of your of the ink lines, okay, of your handwriting. Okay, so you are deteriorating your natural handwriting. Okay, and using the wrong hand, and kaya ito ng mga ambidextrous. So, ano ba ang ambidextrous? So, we are referring to a person who is able to use the right and left hands equally well. Okay, so kung dati normal naman talaga na ginagamit mo sa pagsulat ay right hand, pero ngayon ang gagamitin mo ay left hand sa pagsulat. So, that might be possible, okay, on those individual who are considered to be as ambidextrous. Okay, so those are some kinds of disguises, or common kinds of disguises. So, evidence of alcoholic intoxication in writing, of course, bizarre letter forms. Bizarre, or shaky formations of the letter, okay, or shaky letter connections, okay, greatly enlarged, malaking sulat, illegible forms and writing generally, hindi maintindihan yung sulat na. Uneven baseline, so nagkakaroon na, instead na straight line, nalasing na din, pati sulat niya, papunta na ng baba. Okay, or pabalik-balik, pataas, pababa. Right? And meaningless blobs or extraneous strokes in writing. Sobra. Okay? Nasosobran yung strokes niya. So, instead na letter T, normally ay ganun lang. Pero biglang nagkakaroon na ng excess strokes or excessive strokes. Okay? Inconsistency on the slant of writing. Merong pakanan, pakaliwa, tapos merong pakanan na naman. Okay? Paiba-iba yung slant. And inconsistency in the form of repeated letters. So, kung yung letter A niya ay maliit, tapos biglang nilakyan na naman sa kabila, di pantay-pantay yung sizes. Then maybe that person who that document or who wrote on that document or on that letter is considered to be, we can say that he is alcohol, okay, or intoxicated. Next, with regards to handwriting examination, we have here on the obliterated writing, we can detect it through the use of infrared. Okay, kung hindi kaya ng ultraviolet, then we can use UV, infrared radiation. So, infrared yung ginamit nila dito. So, as you can see, it is obliterated. So, hindi natin nakikita masyado yung nasa likod ng obliterations na ito, but through the use of infrared radiations, we were able to see it, okay, what was written behind. And you can use also a stereoscopic microscope, magnifying lens. Okay, kung hindi gagana, UV or visual photography, iodine, okay, fuming, ammonium sulfide, carbon tetrachloride, turpentine. However, these kinds of chemical, okay, examinations, you should also take consideration, okay, wherein baka sirain niya yung document or yung writing instrument, okay, yung paper, to be specific. So that is very much considered when it comes to the use of chemical, if you plan to use chemical method of examination. For invisible writing, okay, then we can use, okay, uh, we can decipher it through the use of chemical agents, okay. And that take note that invincible or invisible writings, they are also called as sympathetic ink for invincible writings. For indented writings, then as we have mentioned a while ago, best use there is through the use of ESDA. Okay? So yon, aside from that, they mentioned that side lighting maybe, okay, oblique light method or use of powders, iodine fuming or chemical method also. Right? So that could be used in detecting indentations or indented writing. For carbon paper writing, okay, that could be traced to the use of photography as well as contact writing. Also, that could be used for uh, through the use of photography, contact writing. Okay, and for the chart document, then maybe we can use the best there is infrared also. Okay, infrared radiation. So, or and of course that should be on inside the fuming chamber also. That could be okay. So anyway, that is for the that is only for some that those are only some, okay, with regards to handwriting examination also. Okay. So far for this video, that is those are the things that I would like to share for now. Okay, so with that, thank you very much for watching and hoping to see you again next time.